G'day. Would you love to be able to get anyone, and I mean anyone in your organisation, to innovate without threatening violence? Just imagine if you could do this. What a game changer it would mean. It would mean having innovation on autopilot, being able to generate game-changing innovation on demand at low risk, day in, day out, creating great business growth results, which mean recognition and reward for you. And let's face it, as a leader, you have a freakishly difficult job already, let alone being able to throw in the mix of innovation, trying to convince, coerce, or sometimes threaten people to innovate. But there's got to be a better way, and there is. G'day, I'm Nils Vesk, and I've had the good fortune for the last 20 years and more helping organisations around the world, from Fortune 500 companies to small startups, to help them create game-changing innovation through business growth innovation. Proven techniques that lower the risk but increase the results that we get. And today I want to share with you 3 ways that you can get anyone, absolutely anyone, to innovate so that you can get some of those results. Imagine being able to have an innovation program that runs on autopilot, or to be able to have people to self-assess their ideas so you don't have to worry about it or be the one responsible for making all of that stuff happen. And to help you get there, I want to share with you 3 simple, proven methods that will enable you to get closer to that goal of having innovation run on autopilot for you. And the first one, it's going to sound a bit counterintuitive, is to call innovation something else. Yes, something else. And here's the reason why, is that research shows that in the workforce, 9 out of 10 of every one of your team will have what's called a prevention-focused motivation. What that means is they will do absolutely everything they can, unconsciously and consciously and subconsciously, to avoid anything that smells of risk. And unfortunately, most people's perception of innovation is that it is risky. Wrong. Old school innovation used to be risky, but not with some proven methods that I'm going to share with you. So, just by calling innovation something else, say for example, I'm going to look at, rather than process innovation, I could call it a process modernization. Or if I was looking at a product, I could call it a product rejuvenation. We can use different synonyms in order to change people's perception of that risk. Okay, simply put, look for innovation synonyms. The second thing that we can do is to teach our people, or get our people, to validate. It's the new V for victory word. And by validate, the first thing that we start off with, number 1, is to validate that we have a problem truly worth solving. Because let's face it, if we start to innovate around a problem that other people don't think it's a real problem, we're wasting our time, our money, and our energy. The second thing that we need to get our people to validate is to validate that the market is now willing to pay for a solution to said problem. Because people might want a problem solved, but will they actually open their purse or their wallet to fork out the cash for it? Validate the problem and the market is willing to pay for a solution. And the third and final thing is to validate that the solution that we've got can effectively solve the problem. And usually, mea culpa, in the old days, I used to get this the wrong way around. We'd sort of solve the problem and then try and force people to buy it in the market, and it just didn't work enough times, which is why innovation used to be so risky. Okay, so we validated. The third thing that we can do is to get people to self-assess their ideas. Now, how do we do that? Well, we could create a form with 3 main criteria. And when we help our organisations that we work with to look at ways of creating self-assessment forms, the first thing we want them to think about is to be able to self-assess whether it has a financial payback. That is, what are the financial returns versus the amount of effort and investment that might be required to make it happen. So you get them to create a score around this out of 10. So I think it's got about an 8 out of 10 in terms of financial rewards that it could bring our organisation. The second thing around this self-assessment form is to think about technical criteria. So that's based on the more unknowns that we have, the more difficult it's going to be to innovate. If it's easy to outsource, great. That makes life even easier. Or if we have the in-house expertise. So the easier it is to outsource, or the less number of unknowns that we have, the higher the score we give ourselves. The more unknowns and the less technical ability, the lower the score. Make sense? Check. And the third and final thing we want to be able to evaluate after the technical is the area around tactical. So how well does this idea relate to and tie into our tactical objectives for our organization? Whether they're quarterly priorities or yearly or 2-year, 3-year goals, how well does it align for it? Because if we're coming up with an idea for a hairdryer and we're a software developer, well, maybe that's not tactically aligned with what we're doing. So the more tactically aligned, the higher the score out of 10. And then simply put, we get them to add all of those 3 scores up and hand that thing in there. And the reason why this method works, and it's been proven to work so well, is that it takes you out of the equation. They're thinking about it around set criteria, so it's objective rather than subjective, which enables them to realize, maybe the idea for the espresso coffee machine isn't really the best thing that we should be innovating on. But this idea around our new whiz-bang process or widget is something that we should be chasing on. So that when you get this submitted form, the work has already been done for you. And it makes it transparent if we do have to reject an idea, and it gets rid of all of the animosity, all of the politics and resentment and all that sort of stuff there. It makes your workload next to zero, but it also justifies why an idea is the one to be selected. So I hope these 3 techniques have been helpful to you and you've enjoyed watching the video so far. But if you've enjoyed this, please, please, please make sure you download my latest guide, which is called the Relaxed Leader's Guide to Getting Anyone to Innovate Without Threatening Violence. This has, I think, about 18 pages or so of proven methods that can help to make your job as a leader and getting other people to innovate next to a no-brainer. So I hope this has been valuable to you. Please check out, you can download this document at ideaswithlegs.com/MGR-guide. So it's ideaswithlegs.com/MGR-guide. I hope this video has been valuable to you, and I look forward to seeing you soon.